men that get triggered and comment on my videos and say, blah, 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 that's not true. That is absolutely the truth. That if they don't feel a woman can walk away or any sense of loss with a woman, it's not going to activate his desire to be better. This message is going to trigger most feminine men because a feminine man is looking for security outside of himself because he's not developed security within himself. You don't want to make things safe for a man if he's not earned it, for one. So that's the initial stages of courting. And later on, when you're in a serious relationship, when he messes up, men need to experience two conflicting sets of emotions in order to know that a woman is the one. And here's the thing. This video is going to be triggering to men because oftentimes I do videos that trigger women because in so many of my videos, I'm asking women to look inward and take accountability because you are the center of your reality. And if you don't shift in certain ways, then your outside is just going to reflect that and mirror that. And women often get triggered by my message, but it's the truth. We need to look at the outside as evidence of what's going on in the inside. And that's it. We don't need to take anything personally, but this is really how we change our reality. But I want to switch it up in this video and go back to what I love talking about, and that is attraction in men. I am a dating coach. I teach about the masculine feminine energy dynamic and how to like restore polarity in a relationship to have a fulfilling relationship for both men and women. And so in this video, I want to focus on how to be the type of woman that encourages a man to step up. And men are going to get triggered by this message, men that are not developed in their masculinity and only read the title of my video, that just don't go through the entire video. If you go through the entire video and you are developed in your masculinity, my messages will resonate. However, most men that watch my videos are not developed in their masculinity. And so they watch these videos just to learn about women and they get triggered. But here's the truth. If you just give the feelings of certainty and security to a man, he's not going to fall in love with you. He's not going to think that you're the one. He will like it and his ego will definitely enjoy it because you're stroking his ego. You're making it very easy for him. But that is not going to give a man this feeling or this activation in his heart that masculine men need in order to know that a woman is the one. And here's the thing, because there's the healthy masculine and the unhealthy masculine, there's the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine. There's the different archetypes, which I will be doing a masterclass on. Definitely join that if that is something that you're interested in learning about in these different types of men so that you can be careful when you're out there and you're dating so that you know who is best suited for your energy type. However, when it comes to the healthy masculine, although he does want to experience certainty with a woman and security, that's not something that he needs in order to fall in love. And if a woman is giving these feelings to a man, yet she is not stable inside of herself. So here's the caveat. When a healthy man wants to know that a woman is the one, he wants to experience the feelings of safety and certainty within her. That means that she's stable, she's confident, she knows her worth, she doesn't dim her light for the man. That is the safety and security that he needs to feel inside of himself. It has nothing to do with the feelings that you want to provoke in a man, meaning that most women create safety in a relationship for a man very early on, and then the man gets bored, right? This is a situation with so many of you that book calls with me, that I speak with, that are even trying to progress into a relationship, into engagement, marriage, etc., even into marriage sometimes, because you've dimmed your light, and you dim your light by making everything so safe for a man. You don't want to make things safe for a man if he's not earned it, for one. So that's the initial stages of courting. And later on, when you're in a serious relationship, when he messes up, because if you want to close the gap all the time with a man, then he's not going to feel that he needs to step up in his masculinity and be better. This message is going to trigger most feminine men because a feminine man is looking for security outside of himself because he's not developed security within himself. He is emotional, he is the talker, he is flamboyant in his expressiveness. He's the girl, right? And most often, these men end up with women that are very much in their masculine energy. And not necessarily even their unhealthy masculine energy. It could just be that they're in their secure masculine energy. So these women are going to feel good when you're around them, but you're not going to feel this passion, right? Because the man is going to have that. So those men will be very triggered by my message because they need a woman from the outset to be very strong, stable, secure, because they don't know how to do that for themselves. So they need that outside of themselves. Healthy, secure men have that within themselves. You feel that in their own presence, you feel that in them. And so they're not looking for that. They're looking for a wide range of emotions that a woman can activate in them so that it draws them nearer to the woman. It's a mistake that you make in relationships with men. And this is so important for you to learn so that you don't continue to get hurt. And this is why I really want to advocate if there's a pattern in your life where you keep attracting men that don't stick around or that ghost you or leave, the pattern there where you're always getting hurt. You have to do the inner work and you have to look inward so that you don't continue down this pattern where you're continuing to get hurt because you're attracting or you're behaving in a certain way that is activating a man's response to pull away. And so when you change this and you develop the awareness, that will shift. What's happening with most of you is you meet a man and you get so excited about this man because a lot of high value men don't exist in your world, or quality men or men that you're attracted to. One slips through and all of a sudden you are super excited, like goo goo gaga over him, and you automatically put him on this pedestal. And it's energy. I always speak about energy. It's the vibe, it's the energy. So even if you don't directly communicate that to him, internally you feel that, and a man feels that. And these feelings, what happens then is you start giving him these feelings that initially he needs to feel. So he needs to feel excited to be with you. He needs to feel his ego stroked a little bit because, of course, he's not going to want to be with a woman that berates him, puts him down, acts like he's a piece of shit, right? Like he needs those good feelings initially. However, when you get too excited and your emotions get ahead of him because you've put him on this pedestal, what happens is he also starts to develop certainty and he gets bored. And the moment that a masculine energy man gets bored, you're done. You're out of the game. And the reason for that is when a masculine man, so a healthy man, moves into marriage and decides to commit his life to one woman, he needs to feel that he's going to have a long-term attraction to this woman. And attraction is not just the physical, that's one component, but he needs to feel emotionally pulled to this woman. And if very early on he's losing that attraction, he's bored, and he's not even sexually driven to the woman. So the sexual component can happen earlier on, and I don't advocate sex early on. A man really needs to prove himself to you. You really need to feel safe with the man before you give that up, because a man will take it and he will use you. And I don't want to say use you because, again, that sounds like you're a victim. You're not a victim, but he will take it if he has the opportunity to like be with you physically. You're going to give him a house, you're going to pay for everything. Like unhealthy men or men that are not developed in their masculinity, even men that are developed in their masculinity, but are in a different phase in their life, meaning they're not looking to settle down. Although even those men can be converted if they meet the right woman. But let's just say he's not in that phase of life that he wants to settle down, but he'll live with you, he'll sleep with you, he'll do whatever you want if you're giving it to him, but he won't give you that commitment because he's bored. So it's really important not to sleep with healthy men. Again, I'm only talking about healthy masculine energy men, okay? Because with healthy masculine energy men, first of all, they don't want a woman that is going to sleep with them early. If they really tune into their heart, they will admit this, that they don't want that. It is actually a bar for them to know that this is not a woman for me if she sleeps with him earlier on, because he doesn't want that in his wife. And that's really just the truth. I know that I trigger so many of you guys, but if you're getting triggered, maybe look inward to see what is that activating, because no one can really trigger you. If there's something internal, like a belief, or you don't feel good about yourself, whatever someone says, it's gonna hit that, right? So look at that. But it is absolutely the truth that most men, secure, healthy men, if you sleep with them, in their mind, they put you in a different category now. So here's the reason I say do not sleep with a man early on, because even if it looks like he's coming around, he's messaging you, he wants to see you, he wants to hang out with you, doesn't mean that you're going to get the ring from him. Doesn't mean that he's going to give you his heart. The moment a woman puts her heart behind his, what happens is he just automatically starts to get bored. The two sets of emotions that a man needs to feel is, first, he needs to feel that there's excitement, anticipation. He needs to feel good around a woman. He needs to feel like a man. He needs to feel excited to see her. He needs to want to move things forward with his own accord, because this woman is so amazing, because when she's with him, he makes her feel in her feminine. Therefore, she makes him feel in his masculine, because she's excited, she's happy, she's laid back. She's not rushing the courtship process. She's in her body. She's not in her head. I teach you how to do all of this in my inner work course. These are all the feelings a man needs to experience. However, the conflicting set of emotions that a man needs to also feel is a fear of loss. And again, men that get triggered and comment on my videos and say, blah, 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 that's not true. That is absolutely the truth. That if they don't feel that a woman can walk away or any sense of loss with a woman, it's not going to activate his desire to be better. So it is the feminine that activates a man's healthy masculine. That's it. It's not a masculine man activating a woman's feminine energy. This is why so many of you watch videos from men, but a man cannot activate your feminine energy. A feminine woman will activate your own femininity. And then it is our duty, and this just happens as a feminine woman, when you shine your light, you're going to trigger people, you're going to activate people, you're also going to activate the masculine. So you'll be with a man that's in his masculine energy, but he wants to be at a higher level and a higher version of himself. Otherwise, he's going to behave in immature ways, and that's just the truth. And a lot of men that have matured, and if you watch men that communicate about, the healthy masculine or a healthier version of themselves, he didn't just develop that. A woman activated that within him, right? It's always a woman or a feminine woman that activates a man's masculine energy and activates his desire to be better, because otherwise he doesn't really have an incentive to be at a very high functioning level of himself if he doesn't need to be. And that is just the truth. And so a woman that is able to walk away, is strong enough to be confident in who she is, does not people please, she knows who she is, that in a man triggers a feeling of, I cannot lose this woman. I need to be better for this woman. I can't be a jerk with her. I can't mess around. And I want to close all of my options to be with this one woman. My husband kind of goes into this in What Men Want in my ebook. Make sure you get that. But how do you do that? So like, how do you be this woman that feels good to be around in the presence of a man, but also simultaneously activates this like air of confidence that she can walk away, because a man needs to feel that. Well, I can give you some real life examples, but one thing that's really important, especially if you want to be in your feminine energy, this is why embodiment is so important. And following women that you believe are attractive to the opposite sex is one. So there has to be an aspect where a woman sort of triggers you a little bit, because that means that there's something in you that is dormant that wants to come alive. When women that are following other women that are in their masculine energy and there's no trigger point there, it's just a resonance. Oftentimes it's because you're in your masculine, they're in their masculine, so it feels comfortable. Women that are truly in their feminine energy, first of all, you'll feel it. It'll trigger you. And it'll trigger you only because you believe that that part is not active in you, which it is, right? It's just dormant and it just needs to flourish. However, one thing to keep in mind with these women and a woman that is truly in her feminine energy is that this type of woman will not shrink herself for the opinions of others, and she'll never dim her light, essentially. This is so important because men are looking for this. And so I'll give you just real life examples. So being feminine does not mean that you have to be this like nice girl and you're people pleasing and you're doing what other people want of you. And you're just like so small and you're so tiny and you're so scared of what other people say. That's not feminine energy. And oftentimes, even for me, people will comment on my hair, my extensions. I think in my last video, someone commented because I said that I personally don't advocate sex after marriage. That's just my viewpoint because I believe that sexual compatibility is important. And again, to each their own. If you want to wait until marriage, you can do that. I have a different belief system around that. I actually think it's manipulative to tell a man that I'm not going to have sex with you until we get married because I feel like it's kind of pressuring a man. And again, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And so if there's a religious foundation there, that's okay. Like it's not that one person is wrong and another person is right. We all have different beliefs. However, I had a message from a woman saying, I'm going to unfollow you now because I can't believe you're sending this message and I disagree with you. I cannot shrink who I am, nor will I shrink who I am to get the attention from you. I can't do that, nor should you do that. And a man doesn't want you to do that. And I think another woman said to me, Fareen, your natural hair is so nice. And that was really nice. Essentially, she was telling me, oh, like, I don't need to wear extensions. Great. Everyone can have their own opinion. I want to wear extensions because I'm growing my hair out and I'm getting it from damaged to healthy. How you would know that I'm truly embodied in my feminine is I've not changed anything about myself. I'm still raw as I can be. I don't shrink who I am. I don't take out my extensions just to please you guys. I do whatever is good for me. How this relates to men is a man wants you to be confident in that way. That is my own internal security and my own internal strength. That is my own internal confidence that as a woman, you need to develop. That the opinions of others outside are not going to sway who you are inside. And a man wants that. A man wants to be with a woman and wants to see in you that if he has a differing opinion than you are comfortable to express it without getting triggered and without changing yourself. So without getting triggered means you don't lash out, you're not upset, people are entitled to do what they want. People can have different opinions. Great. That's fine. So you don't shame him, you don't put him down. And to give you guys examples, if you don't like what I say and you get triggered and you unfollow me, that is very like indicative of the way you behave with men. So if you're with a guy and a man says something that you disagree with, or he does something that you don't like, or you have a different viewpoint, are you going to get triggered and just stop seeing him, or are you going to lash out? If this is a man that's a good man, he's there for you, he cares about you, and he supports you, etc., does he have to fall in line with everything that you say in order for him to like be worthy of your like love? So this goes both ways. We always man bash or we want to put a man down, but I want you guys to look internally within yourself to see that also some behaviors that you are exhibiting are not behaviors that a secure woman would possess, because a secure woman feels that everyone has a right to their own opinion. And as long as that person isn't mean to them or is like aggressive and like mean, then everyone can have their own opinion. And so a man wants to feel that with you. A man wants to feel that if you have a different opinion than he does on politics, on anything, that you are not going to, one, get triggered. So that is shaming a man, emasculating him, an ultimatum. I can't believe you feel like this. I can't be with you anymore, right? That's like very in line with sometimes a woman will say, well, I can't believe you don't have this belief of mine. I really support you, but I'm going to unfollow you, right? Like that's kind of manipulative because that sends a message that, oh, well, I have to be a certain way to get your likes or your subscription. You don't want to do that to people. You definitely don't want to do that to a man. Sometimes the people that we follow are not going to be in alignment with every single thing that we like believe in. But that doesn't mean that we have this threat that we're going to walk away. A man wants to feel that he can have his own opinion and you're going to share your opinion, right? Without being triggered and also without people pleasing. People pleasing is conforming to what other people want of you. So in my case, that would be, let's say, changing how I'm communicating to please others, changing what I'm saying so that I don't upset other people, changing my appearance, my hair, whatever, to please you guys. That would be like evidence of that. You don't want to do that because that's not, first of all, that's not attractive. Subconsciously, when someone changes who they are to please the opinion or belief of someone else, it reduces a person's like respect. And this happens all at a very like unconscious level, right? And so you don't want to people please and conform to what a man says, because then he feels, I have this woman. I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. She's always going to be there. And what happens is then he doesn't feel this desire to make you the one, because all men want to feel that the woman that they end up marrying, my husband even said this in his speech, you make me better. You're my best friend. All men want to feel that there was a woman that activates a part of him that he has to work to be better, that is unconscious, and he has to work within himself to like get to. And if you are the type of woman that is always people pleasing and you always give in to what a man says and wants, then he's feeling certainty, he's feeling security, but he's not feeling any of the other emotions. So he's not even feeling excitement anymore because he's bored. You're not challenging him in any way. And a man needs to feel challenged in a healthy way. Another example of this is, let's say that you are looking to get married and you are ready for that stage in commitment, and you already activated a man's good feelings, so he feels good around you. You also challenge a man, so you're not always available when he wants, he's had to work to sleep with you, etc. But let's say you're at the point where now you want to get married and a man is like not ready to get married. The way that you compel that and the way that you get him to commit to you is you stay true to yourself. And the way you stay true to yourself is, if a man says he's not ready for marriage, let's say in like 3 years, although you're getting older, you want to have children and you want to get married, you say to him, I really enjoyed spending time with you, but I think that we need to go our separate ways because I need to find someone that's on the same page as me. This is not manipulative because you're not getting him to change something. You're sticking to your own desires of what is good for you. So if you want to be married because you want to have children, then you continuing to invest time and energy into a man that is saying that maybe into the future he'll be ready to get married. If you're compromising who you are, the longer you compromise who you are with a man, the less attractive he is to you, and the less likely he's going to propose down the line. And if he does propose down the line, unless you change this dynamic that you have with him, he's going to be doing it out of obligation, not because he's deeply attracted to you. When you tell a man that, you know, you have to part ways, and this is what happens with so many of you, where you're ready for the next step, however, he communicates to you that he's not, rather than walking away, you stick around in this dynamic. And here's the thing, walking away is not an ultimatum if you're positioning it in a way where you're taking care of yourself. And this is where the energy comes in, and men can feel this. If you're saying it as a threat and you have to propose or I'm going to walk away, that's a very different energy than you coming toward him from a standpoint of you taking care of yourself, because a secure woman is going to come from the standpoint of always taking care of herself. This is where the confidence comes from. This is where the attraction comes from. This is where the idea of a man knowing that you can walk away, he can lose you, that fear comes in. Because if you're not coming from the standpoint of taking care of yourself and you're all about him, he's not going to feel those conflicting messages, which is why he's not going to move towards moving into commitment with you. And so he needs to feel excitement. He needs to feel love. He needs to feel happy in your presence, but he also needs to feel fear. If you make a man just feel fear, he's not going to want to move into like deeper stages of commitment, because a man doesn't want to be with a woman that makes him feel like he's walking on eggshells. However, if you just give him the feelings of security, that's also not going to activate a man's feeling to move towards you. So he needs to feel excitement, anticipation, looking forward to seeing you. He also needs to feel the feeling of like fear of losing you. He needs to feel that you're confident. He needs to feel that you are not going to shrink yourself for him. And he needs to feel excitement when he's with you. He feels excitement when he's with you when you are confident in yourself And when you know who you are and you are approaching life and relationships from a secure place, this is why learning how to deal with your anxieties and your fears is so important. And I teach you how to do this in my book, Secrets of the Feminine Woman, and also in my course, I teach you how to do that. Because if you don't know how to do that, you're going to always be coming from this anxious place towards a man. And naturally, you're going to be in this people pleasing mode to get his love and adoration. If you need to speak with me about your situation, book a call with me, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.